Grimm Show presents The Covers Face Off.
Who did it first? Who did it best? Which version is superior?
The Covers Face Off. Face Off. Face Off.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Covers Face Off. Had you for a second, didn't we?
Presented by the Dune Grimm Show.
Presented by the Dune Grimm Show. And we know who I am. You know who he is. We don't need to introduce ourselves because we're that famous already. I mean, we're like 16, 17, 18 episodes in at this point. Maybe 20. I don't know. Who knows? I've lost count. But we will be examining a cover today, and that is Crawlin' King Snake. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Crawlin' King Snake there, Mr. Grimm?
Well, like a lot of blues and folk songs, these songs in some iteration had been around for many years prior to what people would know as the version. In fact, Crawlin' King Snake is listed as a single by Big Joe Williams from 1941.
Big Joe.
However, the version that I think is was reworked a little bit, I think, lyrically and became known as the version of this song is by John Lee Hooker. And I remember first listening to this as I want to say a senior in high school. On a class trip to DC, I bought a CD of John Lee Hooker, and I remember listening to it on the way home. And something really got to me about these recordings, especially this song and two others on that album, because his version is from 1949, and it's really just him and the guitar and his foot tapping, and there's something about it. That really, I think it's hard to put your finger on. But it's got a lot of soul, and it's just an excellent song. And the cover that we're going to discuss, you will hear about in the forthcoming album, in which we examine L.A. Woman by the Doors, because they did a
spoiler
version,
alert.
Yeah, they did a version of Crawlin' King Snake on L.A. Woman. So we're talking about John Lee Hooker. We're talking about the Doors.
We are. Yeah, the whole thing with John Lee Hooker's performance of it, he'd been doing it. The song had existed, but he had been doing it in live shows, I think, throughout the 40s. And then he recorded his version in 49. It was definitely, it was one of his most successful singles. And it's just, to me, when I just think of blues and like old school blues, like, dude, it just sounds like some dude with a guitar, just like, sitting outside on his porch or something, just like strumming away, and it just almost like no one's listening.
Yes.
Like he's just doing it on a hot summer afternoon, right? To me, that's what I love about the blues, and I think it just has this such a authentic feel to it. And I think that's why you see bands, that we've talked about a lot, like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones, what they kind of, they were really attracted to it, and what they felt in it too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, and also speaking of the Stones, John Lee Hooker actually re-recorded this song with Keith Richards in 1991. Yeah.
I haven't heard that, but I think that would be worth a listen or
I have
two.
a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling. So, yeah, it's a good song, and it just, if you have to like sum up the blues in like one song, like all right, listen to this.
This would be a contender.
There you go. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. And now, the Doors version is bluesy, for sure, but it's still very different. I mean, when you look at John Lee Hooker's version, it's pretty much him and the guitar, where the blues, they're a full band and they put multiple instruments in it, in behind it, but it still kind of carries some of that, I think, blues authenticity.
Yeah. The way Morrison sings, it's pretty gritty. But they do play with the riff a little bit. The Doors certainly did. I believe made this their own, so to speak. They did a good job at that.
Yeah.
And I think both are worth a listen, because it's an interesting take on the same song. For me, this is one where I can't really go with anything but the John Lee version, because it's just so, like you said, quintessentially the blues.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I have a favorite. I mean, I like both of them, and I mean, if I had to pick one, I would probably lean more towards the John Lee Hooker one, just because, and that's nothing against the Doors version. I mean, they've been probably one of my favorite bands of all time. It was like my first real band that I got into. But especially when I'm listening to the LA Woman album, to me, that's not the song that stands out. I don't say to myself, "Oh, I'm going to put on LA Woman because I really want to hear Crawling King Snake." That's just not it.
But I do think about that when I put on a John Lee record.
There you go. Exactly. So you're like, "Oh, what track is that?" Huh? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's, both versions are very well done. I think the Doors version definitely stands the test of time, and I think their take on it is very respectful and honors kind of the I guess the original version, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, sure. With still making it their own, which I think is the hallmark of any good cover.
Definitely. So. Well, I think that wraps up another Covers Face Off by the Dude and Grim. Hope you're enjoying these little shorter snippet episodes. We thought it'd be a little fun thing to throw in there for you guys.
Listen to both of them. Judge for yourself.
All right. Take care, everyone. We will be talking to you soon.
The Covers Face Off is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE, and the Tims, TIMNZ. Copyright 2020, The Dude and Grim Show.